All right, here we are live on Facebook in the group. And I just wanted to come on and say hello, everyone. Nice to see you. Hope you're all doing really, really well. So it's been a while since I've been on here because my family and I all got really sick, but we're doing a lot better. We actually don't have COVID, but we have had a cold. uh, Strange times to be sick, isn't it? So I have decided that I will be coming on here more often and doing priestess sermons of the new paradigm. So doing things in a different way. So first of all, I want to talk a little bit about judgment and the new paradigm. So, those of you that have been religious or have maybe stepped upon that path at some point, I was deeply, deeply religious for many years. And I decided that that wasn't an aligned path for me. I loved the community aspect. I loved the love aspect. I loved the family aspect. I loved the singing and I loved the sermons, and I loved so much about it, but it just wasn't in alignment with my soul in other ways. And so, I stepped off of that particular pathway and into spirituality. And I am almost 50, and so I've had an experience of many different pathways, and I am aligned to the priestess path. And the priestess path in the sense of the new paradigm. And so, one of my beautiful, beautiful priestesses asked me, she said, Schamet, what lineage are you? And I said, new paradigm. And new paradigm is, what are we creating? What, as the creatrix, as the priestess, as the goddess, knowing that we are a microcosm of the macrocosm, that we are birthing and creating the new paradigm. Now, I've been calling myself New Paradigm for the last 20 something years. So, the word new paradigm has been around for a long time. And, in my opinion, even though I'm almost 50, I'm still very young. And so, in my opinion, this new paradigm or the new earth or, whatever you want to call that in the languaging is about what are we creating? What are we giving birth to? What do we believe in? What are our beliefs? What are our morals, our values, our integrity, our alignment? And so this brings me to, judgment is something that not only exists in the religious communities, but it's definitely very alive and ripe in the spiritual communities too. And so I have this beautiful deck that I love so much, and I'm just going to read the card to you about judgment. So this is the Archetype book, and this is the card, the Judge. Yeah, it's a good card. So the Judge has an incredibly important job. They work every waking hour of every day, helping us discern what is safe, true, and just. When this archetype remains unconscious or it is captivated by fear, wise discernment turns into painful judgment of self and other. So, I really love that because it's saying, the judge has a very important job. But when it's out of balance, right, then it can turn into painful judgment of self and others. Ironically, the judge's energy can be the seed of racism, bigotry, and fear-mongering. This is the judge out of balance, building walls, separating from other. When this same discerning force is made conscious and healed, however, the judge may be found advocating for civil rights, causes, and standing up for the underdog, providing resources for those in need, and forgiving again and again. Love is the deciding factor. Awakening this archetype is essential for the complex times we are in. Get your judge in order. The world needs it. Now, I love this card so much because, in the spiritual world, we say, do not judge. The judging is a bad thing to do. And we all do it, don't we? I mean, we all do it. And then we do it, and then we beat ourselves up for not being spiritual enough because we're judging. But really, the judge is something to honor and respect because that is discernment, and we need discernment. To me, the difference between judgment and discernment is that discerning is the judge in a balanced energy where, it's kicking in to help us help others, help us understand what is in alignment for us or out of alignment. It helps us stay safe. Judgment kicks in when you think, ooh, danger, this character's, a little bit like, not so safe, like I need to get out of harm's way, and that judge kicks in. And I know for me, when, I was trying to be so spiritual and not be judgmental, that then I would not listen to my own internal navigation system because I was trying not to be judgmental, that kind of like, oh, Schamet, don't be so judgy, that person is a good person. And then you find out, well, actually, that person was maybe not, in the highest integrity for my highest and best good. And my intuition was trying to warn me, and I wasn't listening because I didn't want to be judgy. So, discernment and the judge, when the judge is in a balance, in an alignment, is a very, very good thing and a very needed thing, especially in the times that we're in right now. And so, it is about honoring and respecting, loving our judge in the way of it being discerning. However, when it's out of balance, just like the card was saying, then it gets into this energy of making someone else wrong so that we can be right. And that is when things can get really murky and messy and misaligned. And so, it's all about alignment. It's all about balance. And also understanding that what would be aligned for one person may not be aligned for another. So again, it's about not making someone else wrong so that you can be right and be the noble one, or making yourself wrong and them right, so then you're putting someone on a pedestal. It's really about, it always goes back to our beliefs, our morals, our values, our perceptions, our stories that we've told ourselves or that we've been programmed to believe. And so, this is a big one. It's a big one that is very, it permeates all through religion, through the spiritual communities. And, for me, I've thought a lot about judgment and the new paradigm. And, there's something really incredibly powerful and amazing about the judge, like an actual judge. If any of you have been to a courtroom and you've met a judge. Like there's a certain power and authority hmm, that they hold energetically. And when you get a good judge that really cares about people, that is doing it for good reasons, and they have a good heart, and they're aligned with their integrity, their morals, their values, and they are, you know, there to protect um, the underdog and to also advocate for what is the truth, then it's a very noble and wise energy. And those people that can carry that kind of authority um, are really, really admirable people that we need. And so I wanted to, you know, just share this priestess sermon with you to say, you know, don't wrong your inner judge. Don't belittle your inner judge. Make friends with your inner judge and have conversations. Hear what your inner judge has to say and has to share with you. And then you can listen and really discern if it is in alignment with your highest and best good and in alignment with who you are and what you believe, what your story is. And again, remembering that each and every one of us are different. We're all different. And for me, you know, I've been thinking a lot about the new paradigm, and the new paradigm for me is awakening myself to who I am, to my authentic soul path purpose, to my morals, my values, my beliefs, my story, and who I am in this world and who I've come here to be in the truest sense. And, you know, for a long time, my inner judge would shut myself down from the authentic me that I am, because of persecution, because of fear of being who I am, because of, you know, when I'm a tall poppy and I shine my light really bright and I wear my crown and I sparkle and stuff, you know, all my little sparkly, magical, powerful self that's like la 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 la, you know, has been attacked and has been persecuted by people that are jealous or insecure, or they just don't like people that shine too bright or too big or to this or to that, or who does she think she is? Look at her. She thinks she's a priestess. She thinks she's a goddess. Look at her and her crown and like all this stuff, right? So my judge would try and keep me safe by staying small. And, you know, to the point that I wouldn't put any makeup on and I wouldn't dress up. There for a while, I just like hid in a cave and was too afraid to be too sparkly, to be too shiny, to even be too happy. Like even being happy, especially when we're in a war, like, oh, how dare her to be happy when people are dying? Like, who does she think she is? Like, and all that judgment that I can feel from other people because I am an empath and I am intuitive. So I would just really stop being me. And that was so painful. It was so painful to be disconnected from me. And, you know, my awakening into my priestess, my awakening into my sacred, divine, feminine leadership is like, no, no, I am not going to be shut down anymore. You know, the duct tape on my mouth, it has come off. I've come out of the box. I'm not going back in. I'm out. I'm out of the box. I never fit in the box anyway. So I am not going to allow other people's persecution and judgment stop me from being free. And so this has been a big inner strength journey to step solid upon my priestess path. And for me, this is part of the new paradigm is, can we shine our light like lighthouses? Can we put on our crowns and our makeup and our goddess attire and shine bright amongst all the darkness that's happening in the world, and be a light and be a beacon and be authentically who we are? Before, I was dying inside, and I can't do that anymore. I'm here to live, I'm here to thrive, and I'm here to be who I am. And I got my hoodie on today. Inhale the good shit, exhale the bullshit. So to me, the priestess path is about being authentic and about being who we came here to be. If you came here to be big and bold and beautiful, be you. Do you. I came here to be big, bold, and beautiful, so I'm going to do that. And I'm also making friends with my judge. And when she comes up, I'm like, okay, what do you got to say? What is this? What's in the mirror? What's in the reflection? What can I learn? How can I grow? Because I'm not perfect. My judge comes up too, and she's sometime out of balance, and sometimes I have to have a little like conversation and just say, okay, what's going on? What is this about? What is the story? What is the belief? What is the medicine? What can I learn? And how can I grow? And what's here for me? What's the pearl? What's the wisdom? What's the medicine? And so that's my priestess sermon for today. Join us on the 26th for an Awaken the New Paradigm Within circle. We will be holding healing, safe, and sacred space for each other and for the world. We'll be doing our Care Bear, sending light from our hands and our hearts, and coming together in a powerful circle and sending this healing energy to the world and all that need it, including ourselves. And so very supportive, awakening the new paradigm within Sisterhood of the Rose. It's a very long lineage of priestesses. And so we will be doing that on the 26th. We will be doing them once a month. And we'll have different priestesses, goddesses, sharing their gifts and their magic in the circle. So I'm very much looking forward to seeing all of you on the 26th. Many of you know I'm then going to New Zealand, yay, on the 2nd for a few weeks to go and see family and friends. I am going to be holding a circle in New Zealand, so stay tuned, because I'll put an invite out to everyone. And so hopefully you can make it for an actual physical circle where we can see each other and hopefully hug each other. And so that's coming as well. And also the return of the Priestess Summit. I will be speaking on the 3rd day about the importance of our intuition and developing our psychic abilities and awakening the oracle within, and how that is helping us birth the new paradigm. I'm not going to say any more than that because I want you to actually come to the free summit, register, details below in the comments, and register. There's over 30 sacred, divine, wise women and priestesses that will be sharing their magic. I'm also offering up the Diamond Mind meditation at the summit. So looking forward to that. Make sure you stay tuned in for me being featured on day 3. I'm so excited. As many of you know, I birthed the summit last year, Awaken the Goddess Within. So it's actually really nice to be in the summit instead of producing a summit. But I will be producing another summit, which will be all about sacred divine feminine leadership, which is going to be happening in September. So that's something to stay tuned to. as well as I have opened the doors to my Priestess training. I've also added a mastery level training, which is called Sacred Divine Feminine Leadership Soul Practitioner Training. So you've got two trainings: the Awaken the Priestess Within 9-month program, or the Sacred Divine Feminine Leadership Program, which is also 9 months. The difference between the two, well, there's lots of differences, and you can download the curriculum from awakenthepriestesswithin.com, my website, and you can look at all the differences between the two. But the Sacred Divine Feminine is a mastery level training, so we'll be meeting up twice a month compared to once a month in Awaken the Priestess. So it's a deeper dive. So I'm very, very excited about that. Also, make sure you sign up for my free Awaken the New Paradigm guidebook, which I've just developed. It's the first 18 pages of my new book that I'm writing, Awaken the Priestess Within, Awakening the New Paradigm Priestess Within, which is very exciting. It's something that's been percolating and bubbling away for years, and I'm finally giving birth to it. So you get the first 18 pages for free. You can download it onto your website or onto your email, and I've made them high resolution so you can print it out, and it's really beautiful. I'm really, really proud of it, and I think it's amazing. So you've got that as a freebie on my website, and also you've got now the 3-day Awaken the Oracle Within training is also available for free on my website. So there's a whole bunch of free stuff there. So make sure you make your way over to awakenthepriestesswithin.com. And the podcast is Awaken the New Paradigm Priestess Within podcast too. So wanted to update you all, sending so much love. My voice is still a bit croaky because I've been sick, but I hope you enjoyed that, and sending you so much love and new Paradigm Priestess blessings to each and every one of you, your family, your community, and hope to see you live on the 26th. You can get your Zoom link directly from registering on my website as well. So much love and Priestess blessings.